Oh, Casio, the god tier. The brand that is so easy to love, that has so many iconic models, especially the G-Shocks. That is so easy and addictive to collect, especially the G-Shock. That was, is, and most probably will be a solid go-to for people with a lot of money, with no money, and everything in between. While the standard Casio models, especially the digital ones, and G-Shocks get a lot of love amongst us watch nerds, there is one line that quite often gets overlooked, the Edifice line. And I kinda get why. Most of their models are, let's just say, not for me. Most of the Edifice models are, well, complicated to put it mildly. Like kind of a weird crossovers between G-Shocks and the standard sport watches. And that design misses me more often than it doesn't. But every once in a while, it doesn't miss. Quite contrary. Like this time. This model has been around for some time. Well, the black and white models have. But recently Casio released a bunch of new colors, and that was kind of a reason why I finally pulled the trigger on this one. I'm a huge sucker for well-executed green dials. And, you know, reviewed countless times called PRX killer, Tsuyosa killer, Royal Oak on budget. It's none of those, don't be silly. But I think on its own, killer of nothing model, it's really damn good. It is a Casio reference, pardon me, EFR-S108D-3A VUEF. Let's just call it a green Casio. It is my first venture to Edifice line. Straight ahead, let me tell you, I don't like the branding. More on that later when we talk about the dial. Okay, the watch arrives in a very small box. That is a step up from standard $30 digital Casios. Step down from G-Shock metal containers. There's nothing extra but the watch. I think I'm getting a bit spoiled by now, but like, you know, Casio branded microfiber cleaning cloth wouldn't hurt. Just saying. Let's talk about the dimensions. Lug to lug, without the first sticking out link, is 45 millimeters. Diameter 38.4, 7.9 millimeter thin. I mean, that's a very, very thin watch. Bracelet tapers from 22 to about 18 at the clasp. And that bracelet. Integrated bracelet, so the bracelet that you're not gonna swap. So it'd rather be good, right? Well, this one is... I can't really tell. On one hand, I wanna say horrible. Cheap feeling, jungly, rolled links, pressed clasp. On the other hand, I wanna say it's nicely finished. The brushing is alright, although not very consistent with the head of the watch, but difference is minor. This Polish center sections that kinda keep it visually interesting. But more importantly, it is the most comfortable bracelet I ever tried, period, no matter the price. It doesn't pull the hair, all the edges that do contact with your skin are not sharp, and by some miracle, although the clasp only had 3 holes of micro adjustment, I found the perfect fit. You know, my life is being in between the sizes on every watch, even with on-the-flight adjustments. This fits like a dream. And the weight probably helps. Sized up for my 7-inch wrist, 100 grams. I gotta say the comfort you get from this watch is very addictive. And the watch head is a massive step up from the bracelet in quality department. Solid steel construction, very nicely finished, mostly brushed with high polish chamfered edges. And it's a rather intriguing shape. It's got the wings reminiscent of Royal Oak that are high polished from the top. And the bezel on the top, it must be one of the most intriguing designs I've ever seen. Its octagonal sides slope away, some vertical and some inwards. The top part is being vertically brushed, while the sides are high polished again. And the polishing is very nice, very clear. The transition between high polish and brushed is pretty sharp. The brushing is very nice, very consistent. Plus there are these screws that me personally I could live without, but I'm not gonna complain about them too much either. I don't think they serve any other purpose than aesthetics, but good. Caseback is pressed on, simple, brushed, thanks God. With Edifice logo, Edifice text and specs and reference number and yada yada yada. It's a Casio after all. They put every specs they can think of or ever heard about on the watch if they can. The crown is push-pull protecting by guards, signed, and pretty okay size. The watch is very obviously quartz, so you don't get to use it that often. The watch has 100 meters of water resistance, and in case of Casios, I actually believe it. Oh, and the dial. And what made me buy this watch. It is a gorgeous, sunburst, very well executed dial. Dark, dramatic, dynamic, whatever praise you can think of it's here. Sometimes it turns almost completely black, divided by the sunburst of the dark dramatic green. I really do like this. There is a white color match chaptering, very mildly sloping with printed white mini tracks. And something you don't get to see every day, these cutouts for indices. And that is so cool in person. I mean, the indices, even if they didn't come out from the chaptering, would be cool on its own as well. They are very long, high polished, and the shape is just cool. There is a little bit bigger one at 12 and a little bit shorter one at 3 to accommodate for color match date window. So it is possible for a big brand to put a color match date window and watch for around $100. The indices and how they cut into the chaptering must be my favorite thing, together with the color of the dial. The handset is very good too. Big, confident, sword-like, broad, high polished, with crease in the middle, with big counterbalance parts. In a matter of fact, so big that the counterbalance of the minute hand can actually cover like 2/3 of the hour hand when they are in line. The second hand is a very handsome piece of hardware too, and it hits all the minute markers. If you see it not hitting the minute markers, it's just because of the angle of the camera. Trust me, it does. Then there is the text on the dial. Well, let's start at 12. There is Edifice logo, Edifice text, and Casio text. That is at least one Edifice branding more than I would like to. But again, it's Casio. They like putting a lot of text on watch. So then at 6, there is a sapphire, water resistant, and 100 meters. That is at least one sapphire branding more than I would like to. Okay, I get it. You don't normally get a sapphire crystal on a big brand watch for around $100. But do you really have to put it on the dial? I mean, case spec would be fine. Just saying, you know. And the crystal covering it all, well, that would be pretty stupid if it wasn't sapphire, right? It is a flat piece of sapphire crystal. Pretty nice, but it could use some more anti-reflective coating. But hey, for the price. And the watch stays nicely legible in most conditions, except for one, low light. You all have probably noticed from the macro shows before that there is a lume on the indices and hands, and that I haven't mentioned it once. That has a reason. The lume is absolute trash. It very well didn't have to be there at all. I know it's there, I can see it when there is light, but when you get to dark, it's nothing. I don't think I have ever seen a lume that bad on even cheap AliExpress watches. So if you like your lume, this watch is not for you. But overall, I gotta say I like it. I like it way more than I thought I would. Despite the jingly bracelet, especially on the watch head, all the individual parts look and feel more expensive than they are. And yet, when you put them all together and put it on the jingly bracelet, this is the only watch that my non-watch friend and colleague from the office that has no clue about watches. He just doesn't care, to whom I have showed the cheaper watches, like this Captain Willard from Watch Dives, that he really liked. But he said that this looked cheap. He didn't even try to put it on. If I quote well, he said that it looks something you would buy on a gas station. That hurt my watch nerd Casio loving heart. And I think that kind of sums up the problem with Edifice line for most people. It just unintentionally feels cheap, even to people who don't care about watches. I mean, when you put on a $30 digital Casio, everybody knows how much it costs, and everybody knows what kind of icon it is. But nobody knows this, and for a lot of people this won't be cool. I mean, I still like it and I will wear it. I just know now it's not really gonna impress anyone. Well, that's not why I buy watches anyway, so... Okay, that's it guys. As usual, thank you very much for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing. If you didn't like the video, I thank you for watching this far, and please let me know, have you ever tried the Edifice line? Any other Edifice model that you could recommend? Drop me a comment below. My name is Karel, until next time, this is Watch. Cheers.